There apparently is to be a further recalibration of the way that the Pentagon, the military side of the American administration, plans to deal with China. Here's the latest from Fox News.
The new president is laying out a new foreign policy.
As your commander-in-chief, I will never hesitate to use force to defend the vital interests of America, the American people. But I believe force should be a tool of last resort, not first.
And just before motorcading to the Pentagon, President Biden showed the kind of power he wants to use while addressing the military coup in Burma.
The military must relinquish power.
First steps to try to make that happen are financial.
The U.S. government is taking steps to prevent the generals from improperly having access to the $1 billion in Burmese government funds held in the United States.
Following a lengthy meeting with military...
And then he had to go home and have a nap. Kimberley, are we hearing the right things, but more importantly, are we seeing the right things out of Biden?
Well, I think, can I turn to the other participant in that phone call, President Xi? And I think what President Xi has been very successful in doing is creating a consensus in Washington. So when you talk to both sides of the aisle, as I have been doing, and when you see who he has appointed into important posts, influential posts in terms of the China relationship, I think that really Washington across the aisle, they're in agreement about China. So I think it's not just necessarily about President Biden, it's actually much larger than that. You can see it in actually even in the compositions of their Foreign Relations Committee, for example, their defence committees. But I think also the person who is leading the Pentagon inquiry that they're doing, Eli Ratner, is a very well-regarded expert on China. And he was brought in really because people were a little worried that General Austin, now Secretary Austin, did not have expertise in the Indo-Pacific. So Eli Ratner is leading that group. But also they've been given a 4-month deadline. So I think we'll see some action out of that. And some of the things they're looking at are technology. But interestingly, I think for us, is that they're also looking at their relations with their allies as one of their sort of head subject matters that they're looking at. And I think that's very good for Australia. I think America has been very impressed. So when I talk to American politicians, they are very impressed with what Australia has done. And I agree with what David Littleproud has said in that first clip you played. I think, we will not, give up on our values and our society. I think, I'm not saying Australia is perfect, but it's a pretty good place. And I think, I think they're very impressed with us.